Alright guys, so this is another Patreon request, and this one comes from Tom Hibbert, who asked me to do a pretty interesting one. This was one I was like, alright, this could be fun. Like, this could be a fun, feel-good one. And that is called One Good Day. Now, if you guys have been keeping up, I've been doing reviews of the Batman one-shots focusing on villains called One Bad Day, which are all villains at their most violent. So basically, Tom Hibbert asked me to do a... basically, he asked me to do like a series of one-shots featuring DC superheroes having a good day in different ways. So, as always, if you would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon, where you guys can send me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. But other than that, let's get started with this video. Let's get started with the video. So... starting off, let's do Batman himself. Like, let's talk about Batman and where, like, what would his story be? Like, what would Batman's story be? So Batman's story would basically be that we set on a story where Batman has arrived at the scene of an attack by Firefly. He set fire to an apartment building, and while Batman was battling Firefly, he didn't really, because he was like, oh, the firefighters are already on their way, I can focus on Firefly. The problem is that he didn't think about, he didn't give a thought about what could happen if he wasn't there. And sadly, while he was busy battling Firefly, someone was a kid. While they did manage to get everyone out, there was a lot of people who were sent to the hospital. One in particular was a young boy who suffered severe burns. And Batman, of course, is like, shit, I didn't even think... I'm better than this. Like, he's talking to Alfred, like, hey, I should be better than this. I should know that, you know, people come first before these problems. And it would basically be like this trend of, like, Batman's been focusing more on battling the villains than helping others. And it's kind of, like, getting to that point. So, Batman goes to visit this kid. And that's when he finds out that the burns were way more... lethal. They were way more lethal. And now... the kid is now, like, gonna need skin grafts and stuff like that. He's gonna need, like, surgery, and when Batman visits him, he's like, alright, I'm just gonna go, and if the family is there, I will take whatever punishment they give me. I deserve it. But the kid actually is like the kid's like, oh, wow, Batman, did you catch the bad guy? And he's like, yeah, I did. I caught the bad guy. And while this is going on, Bruce encounters the boy's parents, and he goes, I'm sorry, I didn't, like, I failed you. And they're like, no, you don't, yeah, we thought about hating you. All we wanted to do was hate you, because you didn't save our son, and now he's got all these skin grafts, he's gonna need surgery, and he's never gonna look the same way again for the rest of his life. But that was us in anger. The difference was that you actually saved us, because when Firefly... It turns out when Firefly was attacking, he started his attack, basically what happened was, Firefly came into their room, was about to burn them all, and that's when Batman crashed through the window to fight him off. So Batman, while the building didn't catch fire, Firefly was going to burn all of them. He was ready to burn all of them, and Batman saved them. So, and the fire that happened that burned their son was a chance accident. The problem is now they just can't pay for the surgery. But of course, Batman as Bruce Wayne comes in, he's like, I'm here to pay for everyone's injuries during that tragic fire. So, there's that one. And Batman walks away going, this job is still worth it, and I need to remember I don't do this just to take my anger out on these monsters. I need to remember I do this for my city. So then we go to Superman. So Superman's good day is Superman by himself. He's Superman just living at the Fortress of Solitude. He's just like, after battling, like, it would be a big battle with Lex Luthor, and he's like, oh my god, I need some time off. So this story would basically be about Superman, what he does when he's alone, when he needs Superman time. And he's just living in the Fortress of Solitude, just going about his day, watching television, taking care of the animals he's collected and rescued. And that's when, like, he hears a knock at the door, and he's like, what? Hold on. It's like, either that's Bruce or Diana, or I'm in trouble, or someone's come to get punched. So he opens the door, and it's Lois, and she's like, hey, were you not going to invite your wife to spend time with you? And he's like, I'm sorry, I just needed me time after what happened with Luthor. I didn't think about it. I just needed, like, some time to myself. And she's like, yeah, I know, but you've been gone for 2 days. I was getting worried. So it's more or less like Clark and Lois, like, just spending time together, and Lois more or less being like, yeah. And Superman even, like, starts to feel ashamed of himself. Like, maybe I shouldn't be taking time off. And she's like, honey, you're Superman, not God. You can't do that. You need, like, you know, you may be, you know, Kryptonian, but at your core, you're still human, Clark. So sometimes it doesn't hurt to take some time off for yourself. Besides, the League's got it. There's tons of other heroes, and Kara can step in every now and again. So there's that one. Next up, we have the Flash, who the Flash's one good day is his story is basically about Barry basically is running around, and he's basically, it's kind of like the Spider-Man story we all know, where it's a kid with a terminal illness, and in here it's Barry meets a kid who is the biggest Flash fan ever and is dying. The kid's dying of cancer. And this is where Wally's like, I can move to like so fast, I can go to the future or the past without even giving it a second thought. But I can't outrun diseases. There are things I just can't outrun. And yeah, it's basically like this story is him like musing about, you know, we can do all these things. Like the Justice League can do all these things, but we can battle, you know, the Anti-Monitor or Darkseid all the livelong day, but we can't solve cancer? What the fuck's going on? So that's kind of that story. But eventually he like kind of comes to terms that there are things we just can't control. Then we have Diana's story, Diana's story is realizing, oh, I'm immortal and all my friends are going to die, so it's her, like, kind of contemplating everything. Even, like, she's gonna lose Steve in one day. Like, Steve is gonna get so old, he's gonna grow old and die. And then you have, like, Steve, and then, like, even she's like, I could outlive Clark. There's a chance I could outlive you, Clark, and it's really just but then, you know, it comes down to, you know, enjoying the time you have with others. That's really it. Then we have Martian Manhunter's story where Jean kind of takes a walk. He's just being John Jones, and he's just on this walk, taking a walk in the city. He's just having just walking around, just having a nice day, and he's like shut off his telepathy, like he's not gonna use it on people. But as he's in a coffee shop, he's just sitting there, and like then the coffee shop, like he's watching humanity. That's his whole thing. It's like people do bird watching, I do people watching, and he's more or less like taking in the good as well as the bad that day, where he watches a Karen lose her shit, and then he sees other people like comfort the poor waitress, the poor barista, excuse me. There's also, like, a crying child who the father comforts. There's a lot of things, and it's like, you know, him just kind of understanding humanity. And, you know, seeing how chaotic but, like, amazing it is. Yeah. So those are just a few stories right there, guys. I thought this would be pretty fun. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of One Good Day? I'd like to thank Tom Hibbert for this unique idea. This was pretty fun. And as always, like I said before, if you'd like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse, and I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.